Welcome to McClean Lake. We are now 700 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. This region is home to some of the best uranium deposits in the world and several active mine sites. Let us take you on a tour of the McClean Lake operation, where you can learn more about the uranium mining and milling process. Let's go!
Open pit mining of the Jeb ore body began in 1995. Once the ore was removed and stockpiled, the pit was developed as a tailings management facility. The McClean Lake operation has one of the most technologically advanced uranium mills in the world. Innovations in air quality management, radiation shielding, tailings preparation, and final tailing disposal enable the mill to process ore grades from less than 1% to 30% uranium.
The mill has processed ore from the Jeb and Sioux open pit mines. In the future, we plan to mine a few more deposits, such as Caribou and McClean Underground, also located at the McClean Lake site, and potentially the Midwest deposit, located 18 kilometers away. Let's take you for a quick trip around the mill's production circuits, so you can understand how we turn ore into yellow cake.
Hey, it's me again. I'm going to come along for the ride so I can show you how the product moves through each circuit.
We start with receiving ore from the mines. Today, we receive high-grade ore from the Cigar Lake mine, located about 80 kilometers south of McClean Lake. The ore is trucked in specially designed containers already in a slurry form with an average grade of 18%. The slurry is pumped from the transport containers using a specifically designed vacuum and container wash system. The slurry and the wash water are then thickened in a thickener and discharged to air-agitated storage tanks called pachucas.
Leaching involves extracting uranium from the ore by chemical dissolution. Basically, the uranium is dissolved from the ore into an acidic liquid using sulfuric acid. And we use ferric sulfate and hydrogen peroxide to oxidize the uranium mineralization into a soluble form. This is a non-selective process. Other naturally occurring metals such as iron, arsenic, and molybdenum are also dissolved with this process.
Hey, take a look at this. At this point, the metals from the ore have dissolved into a liquid, also called the aqueous phase.
Countercurrent decantation, or CCD for short, is the process that washes the uranium solution from the surface of the leach residue waste solids. The acidic CCD wash solution flows in one direction, and the leach residue flows in the opposite direction. We use acidic water to rinse the leach discharge slurry and put it through a series of thickeners where the solids separate from the liquids.
After CCD, the solution you see here, which is the waste solids that contain a very small amount of uranium, is sent to the tailings preparation circuit. You can see how the solids have separated.
We need to send the product through a clarifier and sand filters to remove suspended solids in the uranium solution that is fed to the next stage, where solids cannot be present.
The next stage is solvent extraction. It creates a purified and more concentrated uranium solution. By passing the uranium-rich solution through a series of mixer and settler cells, the uranium is selectively extracted from the loaded aqueous solution and put into an organic solution, leaving soluble waste metals in the aqueous solution, now called raffinate. This stripping process increases the uranium's concentration by 5 to 10 times. Waste metals are forwarded to the tailings preparation circuit. The aqueous solution is sent through carbon columns to remove any molybdenum in the solution, and then sent on to the precipitation circuit.
This is what the solution looks like after it has been through a clarifier and sand filters. Looks pretty clear.
In the precipitation circuit, we convert the uranium from a solution to a solid phase. We use ammonia to bring the uranium out of the solution. The product we obtain, called ammonium diurnate, is thickened to 30% solids and further processed using a centrifuge wash to approximately 60% solids.
Check this out. This form of uranium concentrate is yellow. It gives the term yellow cake.
Most of the remaining moisture is removed by a multiple hearth vertical dryer known as the calciner, which is heated to 800 degrees Celsius. This product contains approximately 85% uranium and less than 0.5% moisture.
This is the final yellowcake product that is shipped out for the next part of the nuclear fuel cycle. Even though it isn't yellow, it's still called yellowcake.
The calciner discharge passes through a lump disintegrator and into the final product storage bin. Product from the bin is packaged into steel drums and loaded in truck trailers and sea containers to be trucked off-site for domestic and overseas shipments. Each drum contains approximately 400 kilograms of yellowcake.
Good luck carrying one of these. They weigh half a ton, literally.
Throughout these uranium milling processes, waste streams are gathered so they can be neutralized. To do this, barium chloride and ferric sulfate are added to the waste to precipitate the arsenic and radium. The acidic solution is neutralized with lime. The tailings slurry is thickened to approximately 40% solids and is now ready for disposal in the JEB Tailings Management Facility, called the TMF.
There are 2 water treatment plants at McClean Lake. The JEB water treatment plant treats all domestic wastewater, mill process water, and site runoff from the mill terraces. The Sioux water treatment plant treats all water associated with mine dewatering at the Sioux site, domestic wastewater, and Sioux site runoff water. Both water treatment plants remove dissolved metals and suspended solids, so the water can be discharged into the Sink Vulture Treated Effluent Management System, meeting federal and provincial water quality requirements.
We make many of the solutions that we need right here on site, including sulfuric acid.
Yes, the mill makes sulfuric acid on site for its own use. It is produced by burning sulfur in the presence of dried ambient air to produce sulfur dioxide that is converted to sulfur trioxide and absorbed into water to produce 93 to 98% sulfuric acid. The steam generated here is used throughout the plant for heating and milling purposes. That isn't the only thing we make right on site. There is an oxygen plant to concentrate oxygen from ambient air by passing it through a molecular sieve to obtain a gas with a concentration of more than 90% oxygen. This oxygen is used on site to make ferric sulfate. The ferric sulfate plant uses magnetite ore, water, sulfuric acid, and oxygen gas to create a ferric sulfate solution. The ferric sulfate, manufactured on site in a batch process, is used in the water treatment, tailings preparation, and leaching processes.
Excess ammonia is removed from the unusable process solution through an evaporator crystallizer circuit so that the treated solution can be processed in the JEB water treatment plant. The ammonium sulfate crystals obtained in our crystallization plant are sold to fertilizer companies.
These are ammonium sulfate crystals from our crystallization circuit on the way to a fertilizer plant.
So, that is how ore from the mines becomes yellowcake, which is then processed further to fuel nuclear power plants.
An important part of our operations is our JEB Tailings Management Facility, often called the TMF.
Our TMF is a state-of-the-art tailings management facility. It was designed with safe decommissioning in mind.
Tailings are made up of leftover products from the ore, waste solutions, and chemicals used during their uranium ore milling process. All mining and mineral processing facilities produce tailings. At McClean Lake, the tailings composition is designed for long-term stability, and the tailings quality is continuously monitored. The tailings are placed in the TMF as a thickened slurry, which settles and consolidates over time. These tailings are not free-flowing and are fully contained in the facility. The TMF is designed to ensure that the groundwater flows around the tailings.
The TMF is a big part of our commitment to the environment, but there's more. Protecting our workers, communities, and the environment is one of AREVA's fundamental guiding principles. McClean Lake Operations meets ISO 14001 standards for environmental management and OSAS 18001 standards for occupational health and safety management.
Regular sampling of air, water, land, plants, and animals helps us monitor any environmental changes. Also, we continually monitor our workers' radiation doses, which are well below the regulatory limit.
We all wear gamma dosimeters that are sent off-site for testing. We also wear electronic dosimeters that give us instant readout of gamma radiation.
Living and working up north turns out to be pretty comfy. Besides delicious meals from the camp's cafeteria, employees enjoy a games room, a fitness center, a racquetball and squash court, archery, musical instruments, a library, a computer lab, and in the summer, baseball, hiking trails, fishing, biking, and beach volleyball. With pickup points in several communities and cities, employees hop on our chartered planes to get to and from work on a week-in, week-out rotation.
AREVA Resources Canada plays a big role in the mining aspect of the nuclear fuel cycle. Check us out, talk to our employees, and ask questions. You will find their enthusiasm, pride, and energy in what they do to be contagious.
Thanks for stopping by. See you around the McClean Lake site.